Okay, so let's venture into something that everybody wants to know. What's going on with my car? I got y'all. So, I'm going to put the clip of, I believe it was back in December, when I literally got a little overwhelmed. So, I was trying to give y'all updates. But I just was like, okay, I'm going to update them on my IG story. Like, I don't have time to make a video, so I'm gonna just update them on my IG story. So it was literally right after that, the next day, I was at work, and y'all know I gave up my car in July. So for those who don't know, I actually had a 2019 Toyota Camry, and I gave up my car back in July because my lease was up, and I just couldn't financially. It was just overwhelming. So I was like making TikToks. I was making Instagram reels about my journey on giving up my car. And it was so funny because I got a lot of y'all who were like, oh my God, that's cool. Like, I wish I could do that. And I got a lot of y'all who was more afraid than I was. Like, y'all was like, oh my God, how are you going to do that? Like, yeah, whatever, wait until the winter time, blah, 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 you know. And so my plan was, like, I was going to give up my car and just save up to get another car, like, maybe in 6 months, maybe a year. There was no definite plan, but I know I definitely needed a break. So that happened in July, and everything was cool. And I actually really liked it. I really liked not having a car. I didn't have to pay for nothing car related. There was a bus that comes right in front of my street that goes as like a 10-minute ride to my job. Like, everything was great. The grocery store, like, I could walk to. I would Uber anywhere else. Like, I used Uber Eats for anything else. Like, it was great. It was an amazing setup, right? So so let me tell y'all, as y'all know, I do have a car now. I've had a car now for about a month, maybe a little bit over a month. But I want to dive into that story of how I actually got a car, because I know a lot of y'all, some of y'all are like, oh, see, you couldn't, it got too cold, or I already know what y'all thinking. It got too cold, or like you couldn't stand it. No, that's actually not what happened at all. So like I said, I got on Instagram and I updated you guys via IG story. That next day, went to work, and I got like a call from one of my coworkers, and um I got a call, and went talked to the person, and they were like, hey, I got a new car. They had just got like a new Lexus or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, no, I didn't know that. Congratulations. Right? And they were like, yeah, because, my old car and blah, 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 and this and this and that. And I was just like, that's amazing. Literally, the person goes, yeah, so I'm going to give you my old car. I'm sorry, what? Like, excuse me? And I said that to them. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And this person, like, I knew this person, but this wasn't like a very close person who would like do something like this. You know what I mean? Like, I think I didn't even know the person knew that I didn't have a car. I think I had one conversation. That was it. I had one conversation with the person because I was talking about my birthday. And I was talking about my birthday with someone who is close to me. And that person was there. And, it's whatever. We're all having a conversation. And I was just talking about, like, how I went to Woodhouse Spa and how I was turning 30 and stuff like that. And around that time, my mom had went out of town for 2 weeks. So I actually had her car. And in the IG story that I was updating y'all, I was like, well, I had my mom's car for 2 weeks. And I don't miss driving whatsoever. Like, legit. So I had my mom's car. So that person that I was close to was asking me like, oh, like, did you Uber there? Did you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I drove because I had my mom's car. And when the other person was present and they were like, you don't have a car. And I was like, no. And they were like, what? How are you doing that? I'm like, I get on the bus. And the bus, like, they were just like some of y'all, like, how are you doing that? Whatever. And I just told them, like, yeah, I gave up my car. This was in November. It's my birthday's in November. So literally this same person, I get chills every time I talk about this story because it's wild. Like, they were like, I'm giving you my old car. And I'm like, you can't do that. I'm just sitting here like, what are you talking about? Like, you're talking about you giving me a car. You can't, I don't know this person. Like, this is crazy, right? They're like, no, you're a good person. And, this is my way of being a blessing. She was like, I don't want to like go through the trouble of listing it because it's just too much. Like, the dealership said that I would only get $1,000 for it, if that. So I don't even want to go through the process of doing that. And I remember I was like, okay, well, like, let me give you $1,000 for it. Like, I offered to pay her for the car because I'm like, I'm not going to drive anytime soon. I'm good. I don't want to buy gas. I don't want to get insurance. I don't want to do that. I'm not ready to do any of that. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, if you really want to give me the car, let me pay you for it. Like, I can like pay monthly for it. So by the time, I am ready and in a place to drive, like, I can drive it or whatever. Cool. She was like, no. I don't want you to pay me for it. It's been sitting in my visitor's parking spot at my house. I just want it gone. And I want to give it to you. And I'm just like, this literally can be nothing but God. Like, I have to like stop myself from saying this is wild or this is crazy, because it instantly just brought me back to like God, because this is a normal day. This is a normal day for God. God just giving people cars. Like, he's just giving you blessings that you didn't even know. And it blows my mind because, I went into this was my sacrifice. This was me saying, you know what? I need to financially reset. I need to just get, and to then just like wake up one day and someone says they're going to give you a car. Like, I'm just going to give you my car. I can't do anything but like praise God about that. It is really one of the biggest bizarre blessings that I've ever gotten. I never, like, I can't even talk about it. I don't even know how to feel. I don't even know words to describe it. And that's how I know it's God. And so it took me out. It was a hard time receiving that, because I was like, what? So I ended up calling my mom. I ended up calling, my friends, and I'm like, what do I do? And they're like, bitch, take the car. You can't say no to a car. Like, who am I to say no to somebody who want to give me a car? So now I have a car. I know that is the craziest thing, right? But that's literally how I got the car. Like, I didn't, and I mean, even if I did say, okay, taking the bus to work and doing public transportation is too much, I need to go get a car. I was probably in the position to do so. Or I was planning to do that anyway. So that's just for the people who are like, oh, you like either whatever. Like, the negativity is whatever. But so that's how I got a car. I still can't wrap my mind around that. But that is literally how I now have a car. And the message in that is just amazing. You sacrifice things and you meet people and you are who you are, and people see that. And not even if you've known them for 2 minutes, 2 years, 10 years, people see you authentically being yourself. And she's like, you're a great person. And I know this person, but I don't know them in depth. But just the fact that, she thought of me. Like, a million people that she knows, or that she, all the people that she knows, and this is somebody who maybe I've had 3 or 4 encounters with. You thought of me. So blessed. That's all I can say. But that's how I got a car. I now have a car. It's wild. I'm still I'm still able to save because I don't have a car note. So it's just wild, you know. So that's the story.